That was kind of creepy, right? A little too Stepford? Big time.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the best fictional TV series with significant supernatural elements. Oh, and for the record, supernatural and science fiction are not the same thing, so Mulder, Scully, you guys can take a back seat for this one.
There's got to be an explanation.
Oh, I don't know. I think some things are better left unexplained.
Number 20. What We Do in the Shadows.
Why don't we just write on them with marker pen? Put our names and the date.
Well, that's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
Good idea, Nadja.
This isn't your typical roommate sitcom. No, this mockumentary fantasy show revolves around a group of vampire roomies who are hundreds of years old. What We Do in the Shadows has been recognised for its effective incorporation of comedy into its supernatural world. Oh yeah, and there's some vampire feuding, some bad blood, if you may.
Hey. Elvis, you traitor!
You only just met him last night!
King, how could you do this? It was me who made you a vampire.
It is what it is.
The show has also had multiple major guest star appearances, including the man who played Luke Skywalker. That's right, Mark Hamill appears in Season 2 as Jim the Vampire. Of course, he nails it with a humorous twist on vampire tropes, while sinking his teeth into the parodic elements of the series.
Yes, I'll have one human alcohol martini, please.
Martini. An aristocrat. I like that.
Number 19. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Based on the Archie comic book series, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina lives up to its name with some legitimately spooky vibes. Kiernan Shipka plays the character Sabrina Spellman, a half-mortal, half-witch, because with a name like Spellman, it's essentially destined to be.
It's also where I'll be reborn this Friday night, on my 16th birthday, at the stroke of midnight, under an eclipsing blood moon.
The teenager faces a balancing act between her human and witch identities. As she leans into the supernatural realm, let's just say things veer further and further away from the typical high school life. Those creepy vibes build up to danger and darkness. Give this show a try, and it might just cast an intoxicating spell on you, as a Rotten Tomatoes consensus statement puts it. Number 18. Ash vs. Evil Dead.
It's good to be back.
How does it feel?
Groovy.
Set about 3 decades after the original Evil Dead films, the Ash vs. Evil Dead TV series brings back Bruce Campbell in his iconic role as Ash Williams. You'd think after all he's been through, the man would finally catch a break, and at first, it seems like he does.
You can't outrun evil, Ash.
Watch me.
But not so fast. The Necronomicon, also known as the Book of the Dead, just won't die. Ash, now living a quiet life with his pet lizard in a mobile home, finds himself once again confronted by evil. And things get, well, intense. With that said, there are still several moments of comic relief sprinkled throughout the series. Number 17. True Blood.
What are you?
I told you, I'm a waitress.
A telepathic waitress who's part human, part fairy, falls for a 173-year-old vampire in this HBO series. Talk about an unusual couple. True Blood explores themes revolving around assimilation, coexistence, and discrimination, as vampires try to fit into everyday human life in small-town Louisiana. Sure, they've got synthetic blood now, so they don't need human blood to survive, but that doesn't mean everyone's on board. The divide this creates, even among humans, really shakes things up. If you're into a whole range of supernatural creatures, this show's got even more to offer than just vampires and fairies. We're talking shapeshifters, werewolves, witches, demons, you name it.
I feel like a little child.
Number 16. Tales from the Crypt.
So hang on to your hats, kiddies. This one's a real shocker.
Previous standards of TV-appropriate content clearly did not cross anyone's mind during the making of Tales from the Crypt. It's a particularly violent and graphic horror anthology series. Each episode's storyline is teed up and wrapped up by the Crypt Keeper, a delightfully creepy character who makes not getting goosebumps a real challenge.
This little drama is about one of life's unexpected pleasures. Dying, that is.
For paranormal enthusiasts and horror fans in general, Tales from the Crypt may be the key to a fun binge-packed weekend, although it may be hard to look at the screen at times. If the scares don't pull you in, maybe the star-studded guest appearances will, including industry giants like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tom Hanks, and Whoopi Goldberg, just to name a few.
A twisted tale that we call The Switch.
Number 15. Charmed.
Do witches date? Not only do they date, but they usually get the best guys.
The power of 3 is unmatched when it comes to the witchcraft capabilities of the 3 sisters in the series Charmed. It turns out the power to successfully charm audiences was no joke either, as the show quickly conjured up an immense following.
You know, I'm not afraid of our powers. I mean, everyone inherits something from their family, right?
Telekinesis, the ability to freeze things, and the power of premonition are just a few of the supernatural perks on display throughout the series. Like all good witches, the protagonists have to juggle saving the world while keeping their supernatural identities secret. They say teamwork makes the dream work, and the Halliwell sisters pulled that off with plenty of style.
The power of 3 will set us free. The power of 3 will set us free.
Number 14. Lucifer.
This is unexpected.
What would the devil running an LA nightclub look like? Well, you get to see one interpretation of that scenario in Lucifer. During the series, Lucifer uses his manipulative powers, but they don't work on Chloe, an LAP detective. And no, she's not a Jedi, to answer Lucifer's question.
You're not like a Jedi or something, are you?
Get in the car.
While the series' premise is set up by his traditionally rebellious nature, Lucifer becomes more and more in touch with humanity. He devotes time to solving crimes, and he finds himself getting tangled up in human emotions and connections. Oh yeah, and with that whole desire thing, you could say the tables turn. Sprinkle in a bit of wit to this series, and you've got something worth a watch.
You just let him off too easy. He needs to pay, he needs to suffer, he needs to feel the pain, not escape it.
Number 13. Teen Wolf.
Is it really so bad, Scott, that you can see better, hear more clearly, move faster than any human could ever hope?
Navigating life after transforming into something completely different is no easy task, both physically and mentally. But that's exactly what high schooler Scott McCall faces after being bitten and turned into a werewolf in the series Teen Wolf. As if that wasn't complicated enough, he ends up crushing on a girl whose family are werewolf hunters. Convenient, right? Naturally, Scott has to keep his new identity under wraps while suppressing his animalistic urges. But he's not the only one dealing with supernatural challenges. Teen Wolf does a great job of developing a wide array of folklore characters while maintaining a strong focus on Scott's journey. Number 12. The Addams Family.
Thank you, Mrs. Adams. Thank you, Mr. Adams. And thank you.
The first adaptation of Charles Addams' comic strip, this series focuses on a family with an affinity for the macabre.
They're creepy and they're kooky, mysterious and spooky. They're all together ooky. The Addams Family.
As the theme song says, their house is a museum featuring Lurch, the Frankenstein-like butler, a disembodied hand called Thing, killer plants, and plenty of references to some bizarre extended family members, including Cousin It, who's, well, we don't really know.
Cousin It! What are you doing here? You should be at the zoo taking charge of things.
This family of oddballs may be dark, but that only makes them more lovable, and they've inspired television reboots, feature films, and even a stage musical. In 2022, Netflix even put a modern spin on a member of the Addams Family with the series Wednesday, which stars Jenna Ortega as the titular character.
You guys are making me nauseous. Not in a good way.
Number 11. Being Human.
You know, all the things that you were scared of as a kid, all the monsters under your bed, they're all real.
Don't you just hate it when your roommate doesn't do the dishes? How about when it's a full moon and he becomes a werewolf? Well, that's a recurring issue for the characters of Being Human. The show follows a ghost, vampire, and werewolf who live together and try to, as the title says, be human.
Every surface is covered with mugs of tea and coffee. I go to make myself some tea and I can't. There's no mugs, there's no tea, it's all been made.
It succeeds in making paranormal problems very real, like when a ghost deals with isolation, or werewolves and vampires resist their urges to kill, which has obvious parallels to substance use disorder. The show was so popular, it inspired an American remake that ran on Sci-Fi for 4 seasons. Number 10. The Vampire Diaries.
Okay.
Were you following me?
It's easy to write off any work of fiction from the vampire craze started by Twilight, but don't be so quick to judge this one. Also based on a series of young adult novels by L.J. Smith, this series takes a darker look at vampires, following Elena Gilbert, a young woman who gets caught up in a love triangle with two vampire brothers.
But wherever you go, people die.
That's a given.
Not here. I won't allow it.
This in turn reveals her family's connection to the complicated history of their hometown, appropriately named Mystic Falls. The series is elevated by a careful balance of its complex story and characters with fun supernatural mayhem. In 2013, it even spawned a spin-off, The Originals, which offered fans a deeper exploration of the show's universe, focusing primarily on the original vampire family.
No, it's impossible.
I said the same thing myself.
This is a lie.
Number 9. Gravity Falls.
We've been in Gravity Falls for a few months and so much has happened.
Wait, is that a zombie? Oh, it's just a group of gnomes pretending to be a teenage boy. Wait, what?
Is this weird? Is this too weird?
That's just a normal day in the town of Gravity Falls, where Dipper and Mabel uncover a strange journal that details the paranormal figures that populate the town, including sea monsters, mermaids, deities, shapeshifters, and, of course, Judge Kitty Kitty Meow Meow Feyschwarstein.
Objection?
I'll allow it. Us cats are famously curious. Meow meow.
Running only for 2 seasons, creator Alex Hirsch wanted the show to tell its story without losing its original spark. While we're gonna miss the show, we're glad that it managed to pack tons of supernatural fun in just 40 episodes.
Candy! 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 No! It's trapped!
Everything is terrible forever!
Number 8. Penny Dreadful.
Is it the Ripper come back? Who else but old Jack?
This British-American horror supernatural series features famous characters from 19th century literature like Dorian Gray, Victor Frankenstein, and Dr. Jekyll. Overtaken by a world of darkness, these beloved figures band together to fight the strongest supernatural forces of Victorian England, including vampires, werewolves, and witches. Most notably, the show's female lead, played by actress Eva Green, has received several award nominations for her role as the elusive yet powerful medium Vanessa Ives. Honestly, it's really all we could ask from a gothic drama. It's sexy, it's sinister, and it's scary good. Number 7. Dark Shadows.
What are you gonna do now?
There is only one thing I can do now since I can't destroy him.
What?
Couldn't find him to his coffin.
No, not that mess of a film Tim Burton made. That was actually based on a soap opera from the mid-20th century, focusing on the wealthy Collins family. The series became popular once it introduced Barnabas Collins, a vampire ancestor who brings with him various problems for the family, including witches, ghosts, and time travel.
You didn't hit my heart. It didn't hit me, Forbes. It didn't hit me.
The show was famous for its plot twists, and so many characters entered and left the series that some actors even played multiple characters in the same series. Why does that sound so familiar? Number 6. American Horror Story.
Why are you in my house?
Oh yeah, speaking of actors rotating roles, here we have a haunted house, a demented asylum, school of witchcraft, a sinister freak show, and a hotel filled with secrets as just some of the ever-growing list of settings for this anthological horror series.
Gacy, you were killed by lethal injection over 25 years ago. Dahmer, you were murdered in prison, deservedly.
Following new characters each season, characters have faced ghosts, aliens, demons, failed science experiments, the Antichrist, Satan, and a Frankenstein baby. Winner of over 15 Emmys, this series has received critical acclaim, particularly for the performances of recurring actors like Jessica Lange, Kathy Bates, and Sarah Paulson. Over the years, it has also featured several surprise guest stars, including Lady Gaga and Kim Kardashian.
You should go.
Number 5. Stranger Things. The hit Netflix series Stranger Things has so much going on. An alternate dimension, shady government lab activity, and spooky Dungeons & Dragons characters brought to life in unique ways. It features extremely well-developed characters, including a telekinetic girl, along with interesting and unpredictable relationships among them.
I am not trying to be someone else. Just because I'm dating Steve and you don't like him or
Forget it.
Plus, the nostalgic atmosphere of 1980s small-town Indiana shines through in the physical surroundings, soundtrack, and even in seemingly arbitrary details such as the 1985 new Coke.
Sweeter, bolder,
better. You're insane.
The Duffer Brothers seamlessly weave these creative components together with brilliant writing, creating a show that blends science fiction, mystery, drama, horror, and comedy. I mean, we could go on and on. There are at least 11 more things that make this show so awesome.
Elle has superpowers.
I'm sorry?
Superpower. She threw it with her mind. Come on, catch up.
Number 4. The Twilight Zone.
This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
Ever feel like something just isn't quite right? Well, as Rod Serling famously said, you may have stumbled into the Twilight Zone. This series followed a new story each week, always placing characters and situations involving supernatural entities, almost always closing with an ironic twist ending.
Please! Help me! Help me! Somebody's looking at me! Please help me!
The show has reached classic status and critical acclaim by using an eerie tone to show a mostly darker side of human nature. You'll find aliens, gremlins, ghosts, and even a living doll in these parallel dimensions. But more often than not, scariest beings are actually the people.
I can't be your daughter. I'm a thing. I'm a machine. A machine.
Number 3. Supernatural.
You kidding me? You and me. Fighting a good fight together.
Okay, so this one really shouldn't come as a surprise, considering both the title and the fact that, quote, saving people and hunting things are what make up the family business. Sam and Dean Winchester are brothers who travel the United States battling just about any creature you can think of, primarily borrowing from folklore and various religions. One of the most common villains includes Satan himself, and the series has also featured Norse, Greek, and Egyptian deities.
It's supposed to be tough, Dean. We're supposed to struggle with this. That's the whole point.
What does that buy us?
A clear conscience, for one.
You really have to give the boys credit. They've quite literally been to hell and back battling these creatures. The show continued strong for 15 whole seasons, becoming the longest running live-action fantasy series in the US. We bet they still had plenty of creatures left to last a few more seasons, if they felt like it.
Sam! You know, we made a hell of a team back there.
Number 2. Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Are you sure? Now this is not going to be pretty. We're talking violence, strong language.
Don't let the title fool you. Vampires were the least of this badass teen's problems, and that includes the trials of growing up. Joss Whedon's magnum opus follows a young woman and her friends as she faces off against endless creatures from a hellhole. This included various demons, mythical creatures, ghosts, aliens, witches, psychics, and countless other original creatures created specifically for the series.
Everything you've ever dreaded was under your bed but told yourself couldn't be by the light of day. They're all real.
They've even spun off into the well-received Angel. But what made the show so memorable was the way it could tackle serious issues, like coming out and losing a loved one, while also having an unpredictable gang of baddies.
You were destined to die. It was written.
What can I say? I've flunked the written.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Twin Peaks.
You know, this is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee. I've had I can't tell you how many cups of coffee in my life, and this is one of the best.
After FBI Special Agent Dale Cooper is called in to investigate a murder, Twin Peaks takes viewers down a thrilling, complex path. The detective fiction series does a great job of incorporating supernatural and surreal elements into the storyline, as Agent Cooper finds himself increasingly involved with the town, its people, and the horrifying events unfolding there. The show also succeeds in effectively utilizing dreams and visions to steer the plot in various directions. Twin Peaks has been critically recognized for its writing, music, costume design, and actors' performances. Perhaps the only downside for some fans was the Season 2 cliffhanger that left them on the edge for 25 years. But when Season 3 finally dropped, it was well worth the wait. So, is there a supernatural series that you've been waiting to see new episodes of? Let us know in the comments.
Don't test my entirely unsupernatural level of patience.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.